is advised. Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. Loveline, coast to coast.
Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew over there. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Dr. Drew, board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist. My call time tomorrow for Son of the Beach is 7 a.m.
How was it this morning?
Well, it was a late call time. It was 7:30.
Did they start at 7:30?
No, but it was. But I got a breakfast burrito, so all was good. Oh, this is killing me. Okay, what's going on? Oh yes, Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight. Dedee is well, you know her. Well, I know her being a Sybil fan, as her eldest daughter, of course. You also know her from For Your Love, which is on Sunday nights, 9:30 on the WB. Fourth season, and the premiere is this Sunday. Mm-hmm. You know her as Michelle Pfeiffer's much younger sister, and you'll now know her naked on. She's in Playboy this month, February,
and on the cover.
Well, this is what you call serendipity, because I was on. Oh, I don't want to bore everybody with my stories, but here goes. I'll be real fast.
Since when have you held back?
2 hours right here, right? So go ahead.
I was on the phone with someone by the name of Cheryl Lynch, who's Jeremy McGrath's publicist, who was a great lady, wrangling a bunch of tickets to the Supercross race this Saturday in Anaheim. And she said, "Did you see February's Playboy?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And she said, "There's an article on Jeremy in it." And I said, "Oh, well, I'll have to check that out." And 20 minutes later, well, here it is in my lap, everybody. And I get to see Dedee naked as well, too. Is this I feel uncomfortable looking.
In the magazine, not sitting here. I have clothes on right
her
now.
Husband, right. Her husband's sitting right behind the glass there. So
is that him?
Yeah, who's hugely Latin. That's all right.
Now I'm really not going to look at it. I mean, until I get home. And then I'm going to chew on it. But here I'm going to pretend like I don't care. I'll just flip through it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Let me just see if I can. You know what? They put all these inserts. I'm gonna just bring this in the bathroom. Don't soil it, Drew, and I'll look at it during the break. All right.
Yeah.
All right. What made you do it? The money?
Oh no, actually.
I just thought I'd try.
Yeah. Why not? Actually, I did it for a lot of different reasons. Actually, I did it about a year ago. The idea actually came from my manager, JP. I have to give him credit for it. I hit a place in my career and in my life that I've been acting for almost 20 years. And yes, I'm Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. I have a body of work that, if you look on the internet, in case you don't know who I am, you'll actually say, "Oh, wait a minute, that was her in that. Oh, wait a minute, that was her in that." So I'm a kind of a character actress. So,
but that's a good thing. I always consider that's a huge compliment when you go, "Oh my God, that was that."
It's
person.
true. Where the casting director or the director would look at the resume and went, "Oh, wait a minute." And as they're going down all my credits, they're like, "That was you in that. Oh, I love that movie." And then they go, "Oh, okay, I see it. That is you." And I'm always so flattered. Or people come up to me in the grocery store and go, "I know you. I know you. I don't know you, but I know you." And then they go, "What have you done?" And I'm like, "Oh, my, you're going to make me sit here for 5 minutes and drill off I don't know how many, TV episodes and feature films." But one thing that people do know me for is being Michelle's sister. So I was like, well, I thought it was time to kind of do something to not only shake up that a little bit, but also as myself as a woman, it was my way of embracing my sexuality and the wild side. People who know me personally didn't bat an eye when they found out I was doing this. They were like, "That is so Dedee. That is so me," because I'm so wild and outrageous, and I'm not apologetic for who I am and the differences between my sister and I. So it was like a way to really kind of like get that out there. You know?
We were having this conversation last night, weren't we, about how people can do 1 million, even primetime television.
Mm-hmm. No.
People have no idea who they are, yet we do some crappy show and gets no ratings.
Oh,
you can't go through the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we're talking about this off the air, though.
No, it was on the air.
Oh, it was on the air?
Yeah.
I can no longer distinguish my life from on the air and off the air. I didn't.
Or I can't. One of us can't.
I didn't pee in an ice bucket in here last night.
No, that was at home.
Okay, good. Good. No ice in it. It was cool.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me float a Playboy theory, and you tell me if any of this rings true. I believe that most all women would love to look great in Playboy. I mean, I really have not met a woman who, if you prodded her a little, wouldn't admit that she'd love to be sort of immortalized this way. And with women and with men and with human beings, let's face it, there's a window.
Right.
And that window will eventually close, and you'll have no great pictures of you in your youth.
When you're
looking
90, you don't
fantastic.
really want to do Playboy when you're 90. It's not sexy or attractive.
Right, but also, so many people have done Playboy over the years that have been celebrities and notables and non-playmates that it almost makes it okay, doesn't it?
A lot of people have asked me recently in interviews, oh, do you think this is going to hurt you? And I said, absolutely not. I think that we live in a time now where women are no longer apologetic for being sexy, sexual, smart, professional, warm, loving. We can be mothers, we can be wives, we can be all of these things, and you can be all of these things. It used to be if you're a Playboy and you pose nude, you're actually not considered smart, or it might deprive you of a job. Well, that's no longer true. Like you said, Sharon Stone has done it, Drew Barrymore. I mean, the list goes on.
Well, and it also used to be something you did sort of when you couldn't do something else. Now there's people.
I was still on the show for For Your Love.
Well, that's my point. I mean, now there's people who were doing other things and are doing other things who are doing it as well.
But you're right, though, because it's funny. At home, in my private time, at night, when I have the candles lit and I'm wearing something, I'm by myself, you look in the mirror and you go, oh, yeah, I could do Playboy. Oh, yeah, I could do it. And every woman secretly by themselves goes, oh, yeah, I think in this angle, actually, I'm not so bad. But then at 10 o'clock in the morning, when you're there with a photographer and a guy's lighting you and a woman is doing your hair and makeup and it's cold in this sound stage or studio, and they go, okay, do it. Fans are going and they're playing music for you. It's very funny because I got really shy fast and I got very scared. So immediately I realized it actually was a fear for me. As wild and crazy and outrageous as I am, I actually was like, oh my God, I'm actually about to do this. So it was wonderful to embrace this fear of saying, look at the camera and just break down all these inhibitions and just go, if you're going to do this, really commit to it and do it, and then don't look back. Don't apologize, and, embrace it. So it was actually kind of scary in a weird way, but wonderfully liberating once I did it. I was like, well, I don't really think I can be much more embarrassed than this at all, because everyone will have seen all of me, So.
Well, that's my philosophy with fears. I look it square in the eye and then I beat off and take a nap.
Or there's that. That's an option.
That's my move. That's how I approach life. And, it's not for everybody.
Right.
But for a select certain breed of cat, just a handful of guys, that's the code we live by. I don't apologize for it. All right, Drew?
Yep.
You ready here?
I'm ready.
Anything we're missing? No? Okay.
I'm just thinking about the picture of Santa Claus's beard and mouth they might get from you.
How dare you, Drew? I could pose for place pen or play something.
Would be
Josie?
Yes.
You're 20.
Yes.
What's up?
Okay. So I'm just wondering what you guys think. If masturbating 1 time a day to 4 times a day is excessive.
For a male or female?
Female.
One. There's a big. I would say there's a big difference between one time
4.
and 4 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Is a 4 time what's your average?
Average is probably close, like once a day, and then there's probably 2 days out of the week where it's like 4 times a day.
You use a vibrator?
Sometimes.
What's the average on the vibrator?
I'm actually curious to see what you're going to say, being the professional, because personally, I don't think the 4 times is excessive. Speaking personally for myself, when I'm single and alone.
Okay.
I actually think that it keeps you out of a lot of trouble, and it's safe, and it's healthy, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Actually, I think it's taking really good care of yourself, actually.
And one time is...
When I talk to my friends about it, I mean, a lot of them don't even masturbate.
A lot of them don't.
That's true.
Okay, so... I've only had 4 sexual partners and feel it's safer than going out and having random sex.
But
absolutely.
Well, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, you sitting home in your 1-bedroom apartment with the deadbolt locked and the vibrator going, I would say that would be safer.
Speaking of safety, people are always asking us, what's the risk? And what's the risk? What % risk is there from doing fill in the blank, anal sex, whatever?
Right.
Just today, somebody came out with a mathematical model that tried to answer that question. And here's what they found out. Performing oral sex is twice as risky as receiving oral sex.
Oh, Okay, so let me process that. Okay, so it's much riskier, male or female, doesn't matter.
It's riskier to give it than to receive it.
You mean in terms of
that's
what?
That's how this is.
In
written.
terms of what? AIDS?
AIDS. This is AIDS.
Oh, Drew, you're so horrible.
When compared to receiving oral sex, insertive vaginal sex is 10 times more risky than oral sex.
Okay, receiving it or giving it?
That doesn't specify.
Oh, well, that thing's still. Why not?
Well, then it goes down. Then it starts to specify later. But hang on, let's read this out. Insertive anal sex is 13 times more dangerous. So insertive means you're the one inserting. Receptive vaginal is 20 times more hazardous.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, insertive anal sex means I'm bopping you.
Yes, me.
In the ass,
and
right?
That for you is 13 times more dangerous than giving me oral sex.
13? That's it?
That's the number.
Oh, but then giving you oral sex because you have infected semen. But if I was giving Dedee oral sex and the night is young, how much different would it be? And it doesn't specify that. That's why it's worthless.
Hold on. Receptive vaginal sex is 20 times more hazardous, and receptive anal sex 100 times more hazardous.
Okay, so
it's basically giving a hierarchy of risk, a number on the hierarchy.
You don't want to be catching.
So if performing oral sex is 1,
right,
is considered 1. Receiving is 2. Inserting into a vagina is 10 times.
Well, why is
more than receiving?
Why
receiving is 20 times.
Okay.
Why is receiving oral sex? I thought you just said giving was
I beg your pardon. You're right.
True.
You're right.
Listen, you know what you need to do? Read that over.
No, let's go through
and then
it.
Burn it.
Look,
we're trying to go through it, but now we're all jumbled with numbers now. Here's what I want you to do. Drew, please.
Yeah.
Off the air. I want you to read this thing over. Give it a little 1 to 10 scoring thing,
okay,
and then we'll do it because these numbers are really confusing.
Well, they're kind of. The point is, it's screwy to do this always. You know what I mean? It doesn't really mean anything. It just sort of putting a hierarchy of risk in the behavior. That's all.
Right, and do that. Figure out that, but do it during the commercial.
No, to me, it sounds like masturbation. Once again, it's probably the safest after all of it.
Well, let me ask you this, Dedee. As a guy, I always tell guys, look. You get home, it's 2 a.m, you go for the free newspaper, you start calling escort services or phone sex, you run up a credit card bill, you get into trouble. Mm-hmm. Just beat off and go to bed.
Right.
If you just beat yourself off, you'd stay out of so much trouble and save so much money.
Absolutely.
One of my drunken buddies called 2 escorts. One of them showed up. He got in an argument with them. Okay. He gets an argument with the first one. The pimp says he's getting a shotgun and coming back and killing him.
Oh, no, see, that's just nothing but trouble right there.
I know. So he calls the cops and says, hey, he doesn't say I called an escort service. This crazy guy's got a shotgun. He's coming over to get me. The cops show up. And while the cops are standing around there, the other escort shows up. Nice. And now they're all standing in this guy's apartment and he's loaded. That, if you just beat off.
Yeah. Again, masturbation.
So the title of your new book, If You Just Beat Off.
If you just beat off.
Is it that way with women? I mean, not as much as men, I'm sure, but is there an element of that? You've had a few glasses of wine, you're thinking about calling some old boyfriend you shouldn't be calling.
And girls do it. Listen, as much as they'd like to not admit it, a couple margaritas, a couple glasses of wine, they feel a little lonely, they start calling men that if they were sober, they wouldn't call. And really, at the end of the day, they wake up the next morning going, oh, now I either left an embarrassing message trying to act like I was not like looking for a booty call at 1 a.m.
Right.
Or, when you really could have saved face. And like you said, I think that it applies 100% with women as well.
Well, Drew, that's interesting. We never really thought of, but we should have.
Women are sexual just as men. It's just that we're just far more still embarrassed about it. At least I think we're getting better about it.
You're not embarrassed. The biology is not as profoundly driven. And men are just driven.
Well, that's true.
Women have a drive that waxes and wanes, and sometimes
we're more emotional too. It's like often when women, for instance, in the middle of the night, often think they might want sex, and that probably is true. But I think also they want is intimacy. They want to be held. They want to, and of course, if sometimes sex happens, that just. For men.
To me, the behavior of sex addicts really spells out the difference between men and women. With female sex addicts, spend all their time in chat rooms.
Right.
Male sex addicts spend all the time staring at things.
Well, also, if you stopped, 500 men who were age 40 and asked them how many times that they made some kind of drunken, bad judgment call for sex in the middle of the night, whether it be professional or some ex-girlfriend or someone who got married.
Or just someone at a bar who's close enough in range, right?
They'd all tell you 20 stories. And if you spoke to women, they wouldn't be as many. There'd be some, but
And
not
actually,
as
my
many.
girlfriends just make phone calls and are humiliated the next morning, but also are very happy that all they did was left messages. But then, because the guy was usually out.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the
Drew?
hierarchy.
No.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
it.
I don't. That math was too fast. You check it during the break. Shauna,
Yeah.
you're 17.
Uh-huh.
What's up?
I was wondering, how can you tell if I'm, about my sexuality, if I'm gay or, am I bi or something? Because
You're lesbian.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I've been with a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was 3 years ago. I was a freshman, and I was with her and everything. She's my best friend, and she moved away, and it's over with and everything. And I've tried to move on to guys and stuff like that, but it's not happening. They're there, and I don't know.
Well, so wait a minute. You had an
I just-
experience with
I
this
just
girl?
hear confusion is all I hear, Shauna.
Well, I was with her, and we were doing things and stuff like that, playing around with each other and stuff like that. And I liked it, I see these, pornography and everything about girls and everything, and you think that's really cool.
Pornography, yes.
I like that. All right. So women, you're attracted to women.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, are you attracted to men?
Well, I am. I see them and I go.
Is there anything sort of, as we call it, spinning your compass or screwing your compass up, where you're sexually abused or physically abused?
No.
Nothing like that?
Let me ask you a hypothetical. If you could think of one celebrity, rock star, actor, whoever, male or female, who you could have in your room for one night, who would it be?
I would choose two. One a girl and then one a guy.
Oh, fascinating.
One would be
Fascinating. How come everyone screws up, no matter how compelling my questions are, they
Or how
manage to
clear.
get screwed?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Idiot.
I
Hold on. Shauna? You get one, goofball. Now, who is it?
Angelina Jolie.
All right, lesbian.
You're lesbian.
Well, that's not a bad test if you think about it. At least it's gonna get you a little bit
It
closer.
clarifies,
It clarifies it. She wants. Oh, it's not George Clooney. It's Angelina Jolie.
I think it's interesting, too, especially when you're younger and you're women and you do start experimenting with your sexuality. If you do enjoy being with the same sex, what I have found with friends or things that I've heard,
Friends.
Right.
friends of friends and friends reading
Yeah,
books
yeah.
and things, that there is that question and I think what happens is that for a woman, they experience something with another woman that they find difficult to find in a man. So they start to say, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm gay. And that doesn't mean that they are or not.
Right.
So I think
women are much more fluid. Men don't experiment like that.
True, yeah. And a woman's also a little bit more apprehensive to maybe be so open with her sexuality with a man. So unless she runs across a guy who's similar to that woman in that experience, there's confusion there. So I think that happens often with women that I've seen. So, and especially when they're younger, because they're still kind of, they're still trying to find themselves, let alone a sexual mate and someone who's, stimulates them on all different levels, and they don't really quite know what they want. So it's part of kind of growing up.
Yep.
You gotta.
I'm not even sure if she should even be thinking about whether she's gay or not. Maybe she's just trying to grow up.
I actually agree with you. Unless there's some trauma that really is screwing up her identity that needs sort of to be sorted through, then it's just part of her development.
Yeah.
Dee, you got a camp story you want to tell us about?
Oh, I think I've exposed myself enough in Playboy, but thank you very much.
Right. I smell the camp story coming up.
Just trying to help.
Paige,
Hi.
you're 18?
Yes, I am.
What's up?
I have a question. I've been on different antidepressants for about 5 years now, and the ones that work will work for a while, and then they kind of taper off, and I'll need to either increase the dosage or switch to something. And I just started smoking pot again. I'd stopped for 3 years, and I was wondering, I'm kind of slipping back into a depression. I was wondering, what is the possibility that that's because I've been smoking?
Oh, that's you can't. The antidepressants don't work when you're smoking pot.
Oh, really?
Forget it.
Not
Really?
at all?
Why not?
They don't work. It's just first of all, there's an addictive process underway. So there's a whole reward system operation that affects the effectiveness of the antidepressants, and pretty much all drugs of addiction deplete the chemicals associated with depression that you're trying to raise with the antidepressant. So it's working directly against it.
Right, but it's not like it renders the pill useless. It doesn't cancel it out. It's just it's a bad idea.
It doesn't cancel it, but interestingly, it makes it not effective.
Okay.
Maybe not completely ineffective, but
Right.
just not effective.
Besides, it's a good thing to say as a doctor, anyway.
No, it's more that than I would even expect, frankly.
Okay. Well,
So-
that means something.
Yeah.
So, Paige,
Mm-hmm.
could you stop doing that?
No,
Oh, all right.
That's honest.
but I will. Well,
But
it's,
I suspect,
Now.
I would bet also you were doing some other drugs in that time when you were trying other antidepressants.
well, I had in the beginning, and I
So you
didn't
got
do
you.
anything except smoke cigarettes for like 3 years, and I just quit that a month ago.
All right.
So
Yeah,
I
well,
guess
that-
I traded
Congratulations.
off.
That's a
Yeah,
hard
that's
one.
good.
All right.
Well, it's interestingly, and I don't have an explanation for why this happens, but if people have addiction and they try to treat their addiction and their mood disturbances with antidepressants, they don't work. You may feel a little better, they may work for a while, but unless you treat your primary illness, which is the addiction, which it has its own separate kind of treatment, it's unsatisfactory, the antidepressants by themselves.
So you're saying I'm like addicted to?
I suspect you are. I mean, time will tell. It sounds like you have that going. Is there a family history of alcoholism?
Yeah, on one side.
All right, that's all you need. And so that's probably a big part of why you're struggling with this.
Is that the same thing with alcohol and anything?
It's all the same.
All right.
All right?
Well, thank you.
All right, go
All right,
ahead.
baby. Keep
Bye.
up that
Good
good
luck.
fight. Well, listen, I like that Paige. She came in with the no.
Yeah, real
I
strong.
was halfway into presenting my plan for her, my 10-year plan, as you know I have for all the callers, and no. But then
That's
she
it.
heard everything you had to say and said thank
That's
you.
it.
And
And
That's all
she's
you can-
calling. That's a
Listen,
sign right there.
But listen, isn't it gratifying? People
Felt good.
can do as they please, but when the only thing that makes it's frustrating is when they don't hear you.
Yeah.
When they hear it, they listen, they take it, and they go, "That's not for me." Great.
Right.
If it is someday, hope you remember this. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah. Here's what we want. We don't ask that everybody is cured, and we would hope you do the right thing. But it's your choice, and
Yeah.
you're young, and some people have to experience a few things before they're ready to quit.
Well, what's frustrating is you give the explanation. They go, well, "Why don't I feel better?"
Right.
But I'm asking about antidepressant. How can you can't make me feel better? It's like,
Yeah.
Well, right.
Not hearing
Well,
you, not hearing
what
you.
it is
Yeah.
they have an agenda. They want to do something. They ask Drew if it's safe. Drew says, no, it's not safe, so they ask again. Instead of making a decision to either do it or
Right.
not do it.
yeah.
Which is tough when you're young, too, is to say, okay, I'm going to take control over this. I'm going to be responsible, and I'm going to make the decision to
Yeah.
say, no, I'm not going to do this, so the result
Or yes,
is
I am.
this. Or yes, I am. Yeah.
Right. Paige was the yes, I am. I mean,
Yeah.
All right. We will take ourselves a little break. Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight. She's currently on the cover of the February Playboy, which I'm sure is out in... Is it out in newsstands
Yes,
now?
it is. Yeah.
Yes, because they are always... Playboy, it seems to me, pioneered that out early thing. That's my... Or maybe that was the only magazine I was waiting to come out early, so that's the only one I noticed. Maybe the Christian Science Monitor had been doing it for years, and I just haven't caught up to it yet. We'll take a little break, and we'll be back. Hey, yo, Loveline. I'm Adam. That is Dr. Drew. Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight. You can find her on the WB in her fourth season of For Your Love. Sunday night at 9:30 is the premiere. And then every Sunday after that. Also on the cover of the February issue of Playboy. It's purple, and she's the one on the cover with the peace sign looking good. Drew has deciphered this risk business and is now going to share it with you. Now, this is, like Drew was attempting to say earlier in the show, people call us, they want to know, is it dangerous to do this or do that, as it pertains to HIV.
And certain behaviors. What's my risk? What's my risk? So they've figured out a way to put receiving oral sex as sort of a very, very low risk.
And this is
behavior.
heterosexual sex.
Yes.
So
if receiving is considered a 1 on the scale we're going to build here, and 1 is very, very low risk.
the best thing you can do is get a BJ or have a guy go down on you if you're looking to avoid HIV.
That's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
You want a guy to go down on you. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
to avoid
that's what
risk.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Right.
Number 2, the 2 times the risk is giving. So giving oral sex is twice as risky as receiving.
Right.
Okay. Inserting into a vagina, a penis going into a vagina, the inserter
I'm not interested in those things.
Is it-
True. I like the BJs. That's
is it 10 times the risk of the receptive oral sex. Inserting into the anus is 13 times the risk.
which we thought was a little low.
Yeah, it seems like it should be higher. It's 20 times riskier to receive vaginal sex than to receive oral sex.
All right, well, no more of that.
And 100 times riskier to receive anal sex than to receive oral sex.
Well, that we got to talk about because I'm not ready to quit cold turkey. The vaginal sex, I think I can wean myself off of. But getting the anal, that's going to be a tough sell to the coolie. Yeah. Is there some kind of brown patch or something I can put on, Drew? Is there anything that's something can just take the edge off a little bit?
A penal patch?
Yeah, I start getting the shakes. Haven't had anything up there in, let's say, 3 days. Start getting, agitated, on edge. No?
There's Clonopine.
Should I just take the bottle and stuff it in my ass?
Yeah.
Or? All right. Let's, that Clonopine, that stuff makes you not nervous?
Right.
Good. Give me some of
Or
that.
gain weight.
Trish,
Hello?
you're 18?
Yeah,
Drew, hold on. Drew, tilt that screen. Thank you. Go ahead.
yeah, I have a question about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And, from forever since I can remember, I've, had these different, symptoms, and so I've classified myself that, I have it.
What are the symptoms?
Constantly liking things in order, or, having all my, plates and everything clean completely, or...
And if they're not, what are you afraid might happen?
Drew, what would peeing in the ice bucket, what would that classify as? That wouldn't be OCD, would it?
No.
Is there an opposite of that?
No, in fact, you might take down an OCD a couple notch. Your neighbor who has OCD might lose some of their OCD
Living
qualities
next to
just
me?
living next to you.
All right.
No, well, and if I, I'm eating food, I don't like people, talking over it.
What are you afraid will happen if you don't engage in these rituals? What do you think?
I'm not, afraid if something will happen. I just, that's nasty. You're, talking over me while I'm eating, and...
Well, okay, that's more like a preference.
But that you're putting your plates in, order.
No,
That's...
the food and everything. I'm eating food and somebody's talking over
We got that part. That's just a preference. How about?
Nobody wants an auctioneer, moving livestock over their plate. I'm with you on that. That's I don't know. That's sensible. But the part about you called and said you had to put everything in order, for instance.
Yeah, and in order to since forever I like everything neat and
but that's not
proper.
that's preference.
All
That's
right,
everybody.
Hold on a second. You know what people do on this show is they call, they present a problem, and then they are the prosecuting attorney and the defense attorney at the same time. They start by saying, I have a problem, here's all the things I do, and then you start questioning them, and they go, well, what's wrong with having clean shoes? And you go, I don't know, bitch, why'd you call? Well, surely no one wants their food spat upon. Okay.
Nothing you've said sounds like obsessive compulsive disorder.
Oh, wait a minute. Where is she? Where's Trish?
What?
Yeah.
If she can't help herself, is that compulsive? Where she goes, I'd like to not clean. Yeah, where you look at something and it's dirty or out of order.
There are obsessive compulsive traits that are not disorder. Disorder really is, it interferes with your functioning. The rituals are very involved.
Yeah.
You have unpleasant feelings associated with not being able to complete them, or you believe that there's going to be something
something bad's going to happen.
Something doom's going to happen to you.
Yeah, it's really upsetting if you can't get those dishes in order.
There needs to be intrusive thoughts and thinking that are unpleasant that you can't get out of your head.
Do you think something bad will happen if you don't do these things?
I don't know what it is. And
no,
also,
Trish, stop.
Don't call the show then if you don't know anything about anything.
It's fine. You like things neat. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
and
good.
Also, if certain times I don't like people touching me because I'll feel like that's dirty too.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit kind of funky about it.
Let's say somebody was to come up and hug me.
Yeah.
Then I would be feel all nasty and dirty and.
Armenian or what nationality?
No, I'm African American.
No, not you. I meant the person hugging you, because that's a fact.
No, anybody.
That to me more triggers thoughts that I have about somebody who has issue with boundaries. That whenever people sort of violate your boundaries or your space, you feel angry and somehow you're gonna push them away because they make you feel something that's very unpleasant when they invade those boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Well, Trish, you wash your hands a lot every day?
Yeah, constantly.
Okay.
Do you hurt yourself by doing it? Do you make your hands chap or?
No, when I finish, they're raisinly and dried up and wrinkles.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, I think this is a little OCD.
A little bit.
Well, why aren't we, hold on a second, why aren't we just saying that's what this is? She's got that energy.
She's got those
She's
traits.
defending
She's
it,
got those
but she
traits.
definitely has those traits. She's washing her hands all the time. She's scared about people
She's
touching.
got those
She's
traits.
getting that germ thing going on.
She got the trait, but
So
I
she seems like a decent candidate for this.
See, I have two
Why?
friends. One is the same with a boundary. When you go to hug her, like I'm very like, hey, you know, she gets very like rigid, and you can tell she's uncomfortable with it. And that's like a characteristic where you kind of go, okay, she's not a huggy feely kind of person. And I have another girlfriend who won't leave the house until she's cleaned everything. But it doesn't disrupt her. It just really bothers her if she doesn't get it clean. She'll whine about it all day. And I always thought she was a little compulsive. But I don't think to a point, like you said, where she can't function or interfere, it just bothers her.
right. It's she has those traits,
So,
as does Trish.
Yeah, but
So, yeah.
Trish has given us the watered-down version
Maybe.
of her life and her rituals.
Maybe.
And she's washing her hands constantly. She's obsessed about this stuff. Oh, what's wrong with getting it checked out?
That's fine.
Well, why don't you give her some guidance here, Drew, instead of
Because
just...
I don't think she needs it. I really don't think it's not disrupting, not disturbing her, helping her, disrupting her functionality.
All right. Well, Trish, Drew says you're fine.
Okay.
All right, so don't do
let me go down
anything.
the path I was going to go down, though,
All right, hurry.
which is that Trish, the thing that you said though that triggered some concern I have though with these boundary issues. Did anybody ever, when you were growing up or anything, sort of violate your personal space or physical space, hit you, anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay, this is more of that, which is where I was
No,
going. with
you're
this.
just saying that because she's black and all black people get beaten by their parents,
I'm not
Drew.
completely black, actually. I'm
Well,
Right.
the black side of your family whipped you growing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
that creates an issue
That's why
with
Drew's saying that.
with boundaries. And what happens is, what more powerful way to tell someone they're not worthwhile than to violate their boundaries? Now, whenever anyone comes near violating boundaries, it puts you in touch with that shame and that feelings of worthlessness, and you push that away. And that's a more serious issue than these sort of obsessive-compulsive traits.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So what should you do?
If you want to look into that, that's worthy of seeking help for. Because these things may become more bothersome if you get a mood disorder or something. These obsessive-compulsive problems may become very prominent.
Drew, you just decided no black person could be obsessive-compulsive, didn't you?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I know Drew's mindset.
Trish isn't. She doesn't have intrusive thoughts.
I know her mind.
And she
I know
doesn't.
your mind.
And she doesn't have the sense of something bad happening to her if she doesn't do the ritual.
Very racist, Drew. You should really think long and hard about that. Adam,
Yeah.
you're 19?
Hi.
Hi.
First, I want to say, you guys are great, Adam and Dr. Drew. I listen to you all the time.
Drew gave you the thumbs down. Sorry, Adam. He doesn't believe your question already. But go ahead anyway.
And the girl, I got your edition of February, and I got to say, it's already, stuck together, so...
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Did you beat off to that? You beat off to that Jeremy
Aren't
McGrath?
you proud now?
yeah.
I'm trying to throw a joke in there, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So what happened, buddy?
Well, it's kind of weird because, I have a half-sister, and she lives with my mom, and I live with my dad, and we, well, I don't know, we've always been, really kind of flirty, and, she's cool, and,
Mm-hmm.
one night we got, kind of messed up or whatever, and
Right.
we rutted.
You rutted?
Well, I mean,
That's what elk
Yeah.
do.
Elk
Yeah.
rut?
You rutted?
Is that rutting?
Yeah.
that's what we use down here, We
You
say
rut.
I'm
That
sorry.
means-
We had
Elks go into rut,
intercourse.
estrus.
We had intercourse,
Oh, really?
yeah,
They
or whatever.
Call that
yeah.
rutting, huh?
Anyway, I'm hell embarrassed right now. People find
Oh, what is there to be ashamed of?
Anyway, so she told me this morning that she's pregnant. She took 2 tests, so she knows that she's pregnant.
All
And
right.
I mean,
You guys
I'm
gonna have a little rut rat.
I don't know. I'm worried because I keep telling my buddies, and they keep making fun of me, saying that it's going to be like a flipper baby or whatever. And
No.
That's
You
not
just-
the issue. The bigger issue here is this child is going to have parents who are siblings.
Yeah, he's going to give birth to his nephew.
And family.
Yeah.
This family is going to be a mess, and this child is going to come into a world where things are very confusing to it. Is she going to see this pregnancy through?
I don't think so. And that's the second part to my question.
Well, wait a minute. Whose daughter is she that you guys
Who's
get?
the half? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my mom's daughter.
So you both have the same mom.
We both have the same mother. Yeah.
Makes it mildly worse. I don't know why. That makes her 65% yours.
Yeah, it's hella gross because I woke up. the
Hella
next day,
gross.
I heard you guys talking earlier about, like, you know, feeling weird when you called an ex-boyfriend. Well, think about if it was your sister and you were, like, drunk, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great idea.
Well, according to Drew's statistics, I'm only going to receive from my sister now. No more of that anal.
You sicken me.
Sounds safer.
All right, so listen. Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
She's got to get herself an abortion.
Yeah.
I would say it'd be a good plan in this case.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It'd be good for you to learn from this experience and watch yourself when you're drinking, because it seems like hell, if you can bang your half-sister drunk, you could take a shot at the president. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's what I'm saying is you can bang a family member because you're drunk. That means you got a wide range of
You
things
don't
you
have a
can
lot
do.
of boundaries when you're intoxicated, so it's best to really, to really watch that. Also, too, that's really good advice, because you bring a child into that kind of environment. It's just really unfair to the child who has no choice.
Oh.
You know, and it's just...
Plus, you're being raised by the two people who thought it would be a good idea to get
That would just mess
together.
up a kid quicker than anything, and this world's already a really scary kind of place. It's unsafe.
Adoption would be okay.
Adoption, yeah, but
And
then
Drew-
eventually they want to find out who their parents are, and...
As we maybe he'll call this show and we'll continue to discourage people from figuring who their parents are. Any of you thinking about finding your birth parents, listen to this call.
Right.
Yeah.
Drew, you were brought up by your parents. You don't want to know who they are, right? and what about it medically, Drew? It's not as big a deal as people think. Is that true?
I heard the inbreeding thing creates like mental retardation. It's higher risk.
But here's the thing. Here's the inconsistency in that reason. Yes, there is. It's not good for a population to have a lot of inbreeding over multiple generations. It's not good. On the other hand, what is good is as much genetic diversity as possible. Therefore, racial intermixing should be something we should equally as powerfully support as we discourage family intermixing. You see what I'm?
Yes.
And yet we don't do that.
Well, that's true.
We don't really say, hey, the greatest thing is mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you albino, get with Blackie. Is that what you mean?
Peruvian,
That's how the ads will go, yes.
So I'm German, my husband's Peruvian, so that's a
Right.
good mix.
That's a
Yeah,
good
we're
thing.
mixing it
Mix.
up.
You're doing.
Mix it.
You're going to have yourself one of them scrappy mutts.
That's right. We're going to love it one day.
Not one of them poodles whose hip goes
No,
out.
we don't want a full bred. We want it mixed. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Smart. Very smart. Okay, so, but anyway,
Your
you're
husband's
saying,
totally
could
cracking
I
up.
get my biological sister pregnant?
Yes.
And no, I know that.
Oh,
so I'd pull out. But what would the kid be?
You're doing the anal. That's your way to.
Well, now, not after seeing
That's
this.
the point.
But here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The kid would probably be okay.
Probably.
Oh, except for
a lot
he'd
of
be a
people probably
Carolla
don't need to hear
through
that.
and through,
Yeah, a
and
lot of people are
that-
drunk right now looking over at their sister going, hey, we can get better.
But there's a barrier here, and that's the fact that it would be a Carolla squared. That'd be bad.
Right.
That'd be some
I need the Corollas need to be watered down.
Yep.
We don't need to be concentrated.
That's right.
We got enough. All right, Dedee Pfeiffer here tonight on the cover of Playboy as we speak, and For Your Love, WB, Sunday night, 9:30. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up? This is Marcos. This is Sonny.
Love, there's Trey.
And we're POD, and you're listening to Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla on Loveline.
Yes, you are. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight. Dedee is currently on the cover and in the pages of the February issue of Playboy, which is out on newsstands as we speak. Also in the fourth season of For Your Love, which is on the WB Sunday nights, 9:30. All right. Ready to get back to the phones?
Let's do it.
Speak to Derek, who's 20. Derek?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I've been going out with my girlfriend for about 5 months, and within 3 months it was going pretty good until the subject about sex came up, and then she wanted to have sex. And then I told her that I wanted to wait till I get married. And then...
You pansy!
Yeah, sorry. So I told her I wanted to wait till I get married. I always felt that way, and it seemed like no big deal then. Then it's got about 2 months later, which is we come to now, where she's telling me that she wanted to know if it was okay if she goes to one of her really good friends, a woman, which I've actually known, so that so she can get some of her quote, sexual frustration out of the way, and she wanted to, know what I felt. And I kind of she was telling me, do you think it's cheating? And I said, yeah. And then she got really mad, and now she we're really reluctant to talk to each other now. And
What if she said she was going to meet with one of her guy friends?
you mean
He
to do
would,
the same
he
thing?
would have said the same thing.
But I mean, just how would that have felt differently to you?
It would have, even though as bad as it sounds, I would think it would have been worse.
It'd been worse if we're a guy. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Lesser of two evils.
All right. Well,
And are you religious, Derek?
I hate to use that word because
Spiritual?
Retardedly spiritual?
yeah, that's,
non-atheist?
well, I don't know. I'm not atheist exactly.
But I mean, you're Catholic or Christian,
I'm Catholic.
and you want to just wait till you get married.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gay.
True, please. I respect that. That's fine. I don't know if this may be the right one for you, though, if that's part of your
Sounds like they're
plan.
on two different levels sexually.
Just in many ways, this is not working. What you want from the relationship is not what she wants.
Exactly.
But,
And-
I mean, and here's the deal, too. Everybody who's got a mission plan for themselves, sexually or otherwise, keep in mind you may run into somebody who doesn't have that mission, and that's one of the pitfalls of having the mission.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what you're doing, you are in the minority with this, and that's fine. I mean, I respect it, but you're going to have to find someone else who does, and this one may not be that one.
And she's suggesting these various sort of outlandish, chaotic solutions for the problem, and then becomes enraged when he won't go along with
Well,
it. A lot of drama.
I think she was trying to kickstart him a little. She's trying to get him going a little bit there.
Yeah.
I would suspect.
Still,
because
though, very definite need and drive towards drama.
That's actually something that we don't think about when we start to date somebody is how sexually compatible are you with that person. It's hard to find until the relationship is kind of going, and then all of a sudden one becomes either less sexual or more sexual. But he seems pretty clear up front that he was waiting, and she was cool with that in the beginning, but now she's kind of changing.
Yeah,
I think she thought I wasn't serious or something.
That you weren't serious?
Yeah, and then I thought, that's why after 2 months later, she finally realized I wouldn't budge.
What do you, good man, and
Well, I admire him for his strength and his conviction in what he believes in.
you better hope there's a heaven, buddy, or you're going to be one pissed corpse.
I mean, there's also a problem that this girl, we recently went out, just like I said, 5 months ago, but I've known her for a little bit of a while, about 2 years, and then she's been in really bad relationships.
Yeah, well, she's chaotic.
She's chaotic. How many times have I said that?
Yeah, Drew's right. She's chaotic.
It sucks because the times that we have when we're not dealing with this problem, we're really fine.
If it weren't this problem, it'd be some other problem. I
She's
promise.
chaotic. And speaking of sucking, how much do you do sexually with her?
I remember at one point, I just knew she just couldn't handle it because all her past relationships were just sex. And finally, when she, we were, on my bed or something, I just gave her the finger and gave her the orgasm because that's all I know she wanted,
Yeah. All right,
I
Jack.
just wanted, as long as she was, but I know that's not going to cover the problem.
Wow, is that a strange way to describe that?
He gave her the finger.
Never heard that before.
He's a religious man. The bitch had been asked for the finger all night
Gave her the
long,
finger.
and he finally stuffed it to her.
There you go. Good
I
time.
think Jesus would have done the same thing. One of his disciples.
That was nice of him to at least try to help her out there in time of need.
Gave her the finger. All right, so, Derek, it seems like, yes, you don't know it, but she's very chaotic, and it's time to find someone who's lives in the slow lane with you.
Move on.
Mark?
Yes.
You're 25?
Yes.
What's up?
Oh, yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, because I have a Dedee question.
Oh, okay.
It's concerning that tattoo. Okay, on the cover.
I'm sorry, which one? Which tattoo?
Well, you have one on the cover
Yeah.
where it's like a belt thing.
Uh-huh.
It's going around, like your waist.
Mm-hmm.
And then, inside the layout there, you got another one on your butt.
Right.
So, like which one? You don't see the one around your waist.
That looks like a henna job.
It's funny. Thank you for saying that, and actually, thank you for bringing up that question, Mark, because it's actually a little bit of a sore spot with me. These are real tattoos. I'm a little old to be having henna tattoos. The one on my stomach and the one on my ass are both real and mean a lot to me, and they're not just something I stuck in my body because. I give them great thought, and it's from a wonderful tattoo artist named Kirk Alley in the Valley who takes his work very personal, and each one means something to me personally.
Right.
So when I
used to go to a guy named Bob Fountain on the mountain.
Bob on the mountain,
to
right?
get my tattoos. But you're going to Kirk.
I'm going to Kirk Alley in the Valley.
In the Valley, okay.
Yeah, and he knew that these were spiritual for me, and that, the ones on my stomach are a picture of two doves. One is in memory of my father, whom I lost, and the other one is in memory of my best friend, who I lost, one of cancer and one of AIDS. And the angels on my butt represent the innocence of love, something I will always believe
How about
in.
just putting a picture of them on there? I mean, it's a cut
I
out
love
the
Kenny
middle
and
man.
my father. I just thought
Well,
maybe
yeah,
it'd be a little
put
funky.
a picture of Kenny on
I'll
there.
tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened. Keep Kenny and my dad.
Listen, Tyson has Arthur Ashe on his arm.
I'm telling you, my first experience with the angels on my ass, as I got older, they were really, when I was younger, they were chubby and fat. Now that I'm older, they're kind of long and lean. They're turning into teenagers.
Right.
So I thought I'd stop putting like people's faces and stuff on my body and do like doves. So if they get like, transform, when my body transforms.
Right.
What happened was,
Like a vulture.
I don't know if it was an accident, but they airbrushed my tattoos off my stomach on the inside.
Huh.
That's what happened there, Mark. That was not, and actually it was already in print when I saw that, because I would have stopped the presses and say, that's like airbrushing my nose.
Well,
because this is a part of my body for the rest of my life, my tattoos.
Obviously, it's not an accident. I mean, they did it
I have a
intentionally.
feeling someone looked at it and said, I think it's a prettier picture without the one on her stomach. Personally, that I was very hurt because I took it personal, because my tattoos, and in the article inside it mentions my tattoos and what they mean to me, and yet they airbrushed them off my body. So
we got to take a break, but I smell a lawsuit here. I mean it. You could probably sue them for altering you.
I thought this gives me something to talk about, because I thought someone will say, hey, wait a minute, what happened to the tattoo on her stomach on the inside? It disappeared. But yeah, they actually mean a lot to me, those tattoos.
All right, we will take a break. Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight, talking about the cover of Playboy, February, and we'll be right back. Hey, yo, Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Drew. Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight. She's in For Your Love, which is on the WB 9:30 Sunday nights. The premiere is coming up this Sunday. She's also in the new issue of Playboy, February, on the cover and in the pages. And Drew just pointed out that I'm in it, too.
See, luckily I'm here. Luckily you have this issue, and now you know.
Yep. And, let me... we were just having a conversation about...
Are you naked, too?
Well, I'm just looking at the front page. So let me turn the page and see. No, my ass is not on the back part of the page. I'm up there with the Hefner roast that we did in Vegas. Did in New York a couple months back. Well, we roasted Hefner, and there's a whole montage of pictures of that night. There's a picture of me standing next to Brett Butler, smiling at the podium. And I have zero recollection of standing next to Brett Butler. If you'd asked me if she was there, I probably would have said no.
That's scary.
And there we are, standing shoulder to shoulder.
Like buddies.
Posing for pictures. I had no idea I was there.
Do you remember being there at all?
I do remember doing the gig, yes,
okay,
vaguely.
That's good.
Yes, Drew, that's Brett Butler. Who else would that be? Isn't that her?
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's not Gilbert Godfrey.
Well,
read. There's got to be a little caption or something in there. It probably says it.
It
Butler.
does look like her. But
Well, read the. There's got to be a caption in there that says something.
You too.
Okay.
Oh, former bunny Deborah Harry.
Oh, that's Deborah Harry?
Yeah, that looks like her.
Oops.
Deborah Harry.
No wonder I don't remember Brett
Brett
Butler.
Deborah Harry.
My God, does that look like Brett
It
Butler?
looks like Deborah Harry.
No, it looks like Deborah Harry.
Now you can see Deborah in there. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Well, you got to admit it looks something like Brett
When
Butler
I first looked
too.
at it, I thought, because it kind of looked like.
All right. Well, better yet, me and Deborah Harry.
Now, do you remember standing to Deborah?
No, but I remember she was there.
Okay.
Scott,
Yeah.
you're 35.
Yes, I am.
I just been waiting to drink that whole night. It was like a whole night where you should have been drinking, but you couldn't get drunk until the very end. So I was probably loaded by then because I just polished off like a bottle of wine as soon as that goddamn thing ended. Go ahead, Scott.
First of all, I'd like to say to Dedee, absolutely beautiful. I love your Playboy spread. I just subscribed, and you're my first issue.
Oh, thank you.
What about the picture of me standing next to Deborah Butler?
Very impressive.
All right.
And to Adam and Drew, I'd like to apologize because I lied last week to get your cranberry sauce recipe.
Did I give that last week?
Well, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you got it.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to do it, but...
All right,
get on with it, Scott. This we do care about.
And Anderson, I think it's really cool you...
All right. I really hope he didn't have a question.
Whatever.
It's on hold for 41 goddamn minutes. Let's talk to, and not that Anderson doesn't deserve praise. It's just we don't
care.
We don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that's right.
Jason,
Yes?
you're 24.
Yes, I am.
What's up?
Hey, I was just kind of curious. After I go ahead and do my thing by myself, jerk off and everything, I was kind of curious what the lifespan of sperm was after it was exposed to the air.
Why? Just out of my own curiosity, why are you interested in that?
Just because I was curious, because I didn't want to get my girlfriend pregnant if there was some still dried on the tip of my penis. And I didn't know if that, if any more exposure to moisture would reduce.
So your question is, if you were to have intercourse within some period of time after ejaculating, would there be enough around there to get her pregnant?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, he also had a theory about being remoistened and brought back to life like sea monkeys.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Wait a minute. I got a plan here, Drew.
I hear that.
Sperm monkeys.
Sperm lasts 72 hours in fallopian tubes. So if it is an ovulation anywhere within that 72 hours that it's sitting up there, you can get someone pregnant.
But what if it's dry?
If it's
cannot
dry,
be reactivated.
Really, it's pretty much dry. It's done.
And when it
Okay. I didn't know if there was a certain amount of time.
But it can live in the urethra for a little while. So you got to, if you haven't urinated or something after, you've done something to flush out that urethral tract, you can get her pregnant just with what's hanging around in the urethra.
Oh, okay.
So
What about when sperm hits the air? Is there anything in that?
it's pretty much dry out.
Is that an old thing I heard a long time ago?
Yeah. No, but when it hits the fan, I mean, that's trouble. That
It's
is
also very messy, I would
serious
imagine.
trouble when the sperm hits the fan. My mom used to say, when your dad gets home
Yeah,
and
my mom used
sees
to
this
say that too.
report card, the sperm is really going to hit the fan. Kathy,
Yeah?
you're 17?
Uh-huh.
What's up?
I was wondering... Okay, I was molested, and I was wondering why I go towards men instead of the girls that, are really rigid from men.
Why what?
What?
Why I, totally go all out and go for men when, a lot of girls that have been molested, they, get all rigid and they don't want to be around
They
men.
recoil?
Yeah, there's sort of two ways you can get.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get there, too.
You can either go back and forth, which some women do, between being very rigid and sort of avoidant of sex or being highly compulsed towards sex. And it seems that having been sexual abuse sets people on one trajectory, sort of one track or another. And if you're going down the one that's highly sexualized, that's you. And being sexually abused does definitely predispose to sexual addiction, sexual compulsion. And some women are completely, feel nothing. They feel non-sexual. They completely shut off to all that.
Is there, a difference in the way they were molested, the age of the guy?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, but it would be this way. It's this way with a lot of things. Let's say a certain nationality kicked your ass when you were 10 years old. Some guys would seek out that nationality and try to kick everyone's ass, and other people would run when they saw someone of that nationality. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is kind of the same thing. You were traumatized by a group or by a person, and now you either run from it or you sort of try to conquer it.
What freaks a lot of people out is that if they were sort of physically handled aggressively in some of these sexual encounters, that becomes the only way you can orgasm. It's as though that so highly arousing an experience prior to your brain being mature sort of lays down the track work that causes you to need that in your sexual encounters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something to be concerned about if you find yourself in that way where only
It's not good. It tends to keep you away from intimacy.
Well,
that's not intimacy, that's,
That's just acting out.
Kathy, you're going to have to get yourself some help any way you slice it, right?
Uh-huh.
Who molested you?
Those home daycares, where, the regular people run it?
Uh-huh.
The husband of the wife.
Wow.
Yeah. See, it's a catch-22 with those folks who want to open their home to daycare because they cannot be trusted by virtue of the fact they want to open their home to daycare. That's the way I look at it. It's just like guys who want, these single guys who want to be scout leaders. It's like, no, sorry, we can't take you. We got to take the guy who doesn't want to do it. Take me. I'll be pissed. You'll drag my ass out to the woods once a week, and I'll be pissed as hell, but I will not molest because I don't want to do it. You got to watch out for the guy. You got to watch out for the guys who are signing up. All right, Kathy. Well, did they get to the bottom of this?
I think, when I was 7.
They got the guy?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you figure, I mean, it's just like how I know these molesters work on sort of impulse, but what is the plan? You know what I mean? Like, if you say, like, I can remember as a kid saying to, like, a younger kid, don't tell your mommy that I took or whacked you across the head or did this, and then they go, if you tell them, we will get into trouble, your mommy will get mad. Okay, all right. They'll run right up to them and start screaming about it. Right away. I mean, how are you going to molest that, 15, 6, or 7-year-olds and not expect every one of them to go home and start yapping about something?
I think what happens, and I might be wrong, but I think that they're so traumatized by the event and they somehow hold themselves responsible that somehow keeps their silence, and they feel that they're like being punished, ashamed, and that.
A certain percentage of them will, but that's still, that ain't all of them.
The perpetrators somehow know how to pick the right ones.
Yeah, they kind of like sense them or something. They know which ones which ones will squawk and which ones will actually withdraw. It
just seems like with those kids heading home and living with their folks every day, over a course of months or years, you just figure something's got to give.
It's actually scary because usually when they find out the child's been molested years later, they look back and they actually can pinpoint when the child started to change behavior, but they never really noticed it enough to say, hey, wait a minute, Johnny or Susie's acting a little strange.
Yeah, it's like,
around, years later go by and they,
around his 8th birthday, he started carrying a flask. And that should have...
Or started beating up the dog.
Should have been an indicator.
Yeah.
Had we known then what we know now.
Right.
Anna?
Yes.
You're 19?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see the flask make a comeback. That was a very
quaint.
Yeah, there was the way a gentleman would drink, and I'm fine with that.
Classy way to just
Yeah, and it could save you from a bullet every once in a while.
Right, position in the right place in the pocket.
Absolutely.
Classy.
Anna?
Yes.
So what's up?
Okay, there was this guy. I started going to school with him. I went to school down south for, it was 2000, in August of 2000. And I really, really liked him, and we were friends at first. And then things sort of escalated to a physical level. But I knew that he didn't like me, as anything more than just a friend. But I kind of let my feelings sort of take over anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I started... we started getting physical and stuff like that. And so anyway, the school year is over in May of last year, 2001. And now I totally can't stop thinking about him. And he has another girlfriend and everything, but I can't stop thinking about him for anything.
Well, do you see him at school?
No, I don't go to the same school as him.
Oh, okay.
It's just a pure fantasy.
But he lives 10 minutes away from me. And he came back from school, too, and he's at home now, too.
But there's no possibility of a relationship. You know that.
Yeah, I know that, but it's I keep hanging on to, the little memories and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's natural.
Yeah, but at 19.
Well, 19, come on.
You're right.
Yeah.
Trish, stop making noise over
what's
there.
going on in your life that there's nothing else to keep you busy?
I don't know.
All right, Drew.
I don't know. It's I'm going to school now and everything. And I'm trying to get a part-time job and everything like that, but I can't. He's literally on my mind all the time, and I don't know what to do about it.
Stop saying that. We get that. We understand that.
Oh, Drew.
What is it? What is it?
Heartbroken.
What is it? No, she's not, because the relationship ended without any. This has come back around now as an obsession when her life is not going so well. Are you depressed?
I went to therapy when I was younger, and they said I was depressed, and they said that I should take some drugs or something, but my mom didn't think it was a good idea for me to get on.
I'm highly suspicious that the depression is resurfacing, because this obsession is just your brain trying to manage something. It has no connection to reality. There's obviously no possibility of a relationship. The relationship even ended without it being terribly traumatic to you, but now all of a sudden there's an obsession there. And it's an obsession that's trying to distract you from something more unpleasant, some other feelings that you really don't like having. And it's time to look into that.
All right, well, back to the shrink, and you're not a minor anymore. Screw your mom, and if they want to give you some drugs, you go ahead and take them.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with trying to take care of yourself. I mean, it's actually being really responsible and smart.
Yeah, and look at it as little bad-tasting candy. Not drugs. Such a negative connotation there. Look at this little oddly... Drew, how many times are you going to suck that mic in the course of this break?
At least once.
Well, it was interesting. You're honing. You worked a couple of techniques because you did the drag a little bit earlier in this. You did the drag, the scrape. You did the swipe, and then this was the punch. And what are you going to do? Will you just submerge it in water at a certain point? Like, what's the coup de grace for you?
Great idea.
How do you top yourself every night? All right, let's talk. Let's get rid of Damon over here because he's been on hold for 55 minutes, and I'd just like to get him out of our hair. Pardon the pun, because he's got a hair-related question. Damon?
I'm so sorry I'm a burden to you guys.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I just had a question. Actually, I've been always curious about this. I can grow full facial hair, but yet on my body, I have very few pubic. It's almost strands, and I have no hair on my legs or arms at all. And I was just wondering, I mean, is this a medical deal?
And do you grow can you grow a full beard?
I have to shave constantly, every day.
You're otherwise healthy?
Yeah. But my whole life, always people like, when you would take off your shirt, you would have no armpit hair. And at some point in my life, I thought I might grow some, but now I'm 23, and I have no body.
Well, but the good news is you got all these fags shaving themselves down
that's
now.
Another thing. I mean, when the woman, she says, what do you do, shave down? I'm like, no.
Well, that's cool because you get the look without dealing with the psychology.
But the look, I mean, every man wants some hair on their body. Imagine.
Drew doesn't have any.
Except for the ones that are shaving it off.
Right.
They actually think you're fortunate.
Those are mostly porn stars.
Right.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys shaving themselves down. But be that as it may, Drew, what should he do?
Nothing.
He doesn't want to get a checkup?
No.
It couldn't be some kind of thyroid problem?
Abnormal. Is it some guys are like extremely hairy all over, some are kind of just
This is why I didn't go right to this call.
Oh, shut up,
Well, seriously,
boy over there.
Wait a minute.
Oh, let me tell you, Drew punches a mic a couple of times and rattles the can around, so I get on him, and then we go to a call, and now he's going to pay me back by having Damon die of a hyperactive thyroid.
No,
you've made your point, Drew.
No, there's no answer. The answer is that's you.
Bull, because we've gotten this call many times, and you've asked if they've had a workup.
Not with facial hair that's normal.
He says he has no pubic hair.
Maybe a sign of something else.
Right. He has normal facial, which means he has normal androgens.
Now,
that's it.
You would tell, if I didn't force you to take that call, you'd tell him to just get a checkup, get a workup.
He said he's never had any medical problems.
Now, later in my life, would I be more for losing hair on my head or something? I mean...
No, not necessarily. It doesn't mean anything. It really has no meaning.
You probably lose less hair on your head because the guys who lose the hair on their head seem to be hairier guys because they produce that testosterone that gets them to lose it.
Oh, and does that have anything to do with their fathers, too? Is that true, that if your father's balding, then you're going to bald? Is there any truth in that?
Yeah, and they've also said mom's dad is a contributor to that. But
and that's all kind of...
It's not a direct relationship.
All right, so this guy should see nobody. What could he do if he wanted to do something?
Nothing.
Couldn't get... There's no supplement or something?
Embrace the fact that he's hairless and just stand and be proud and say, I'm hairless.
I don't mean a hair-growing pill, but what I mean is some sort of replacement supplement. Maybe he should have his testosterone checked.
Hey, do you believe in those herbs, BioSil and Pantol, that supposedly promote hair growth, make all that stuff? Do you think that works?
Drew doesn't like herbs.
Oh, they're homeopathic.
Never heard of those. But I can't think of anything that would be associated with that.
All right. His attorney will be calling next week.
The hair and the legs and the pubic area, particularly in women, can be associated with adrenal function, but he wouldn't have signs of normal testosterone elsewhere, if that were a problem.
Yeah. Go ahead there, Dan.
Hello?
You're 35. Drew's angry now because we took calls.
Pardon me?
What's up, Dan?
Am I on?
You're
Time
on.
to
Start listening, goddammit.
Hey. I have a quick question, Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
About ecstasy. What's the difference between MDMA and MDA?
They are different compounds. MDA is a little more strongly hallucinogenic and a little more damaging to your brain.
Got to get that one.
And probably has a little less stimulant effect.
Okay.
So they're more hallucinating, less
speedy, right? Less speedy, more hallucination.
Isn't that like Mad Dog's acid or something? Isn't that they call it?
They're related to MDMA. They're
it's all the
designers' hallucinogens.
Okay. Have you ever heard of a drug dealer being convicted for manslaughter for someone who overdosed on MDA?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened, yeah.
Well, not necessarily. Just
Not
any
MDA, yeah.
drug. Any drug.
Yeah.
They do that. I mean, that's what... hell, I mean, Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker was bringing that drug, his son's drug
His
dealer.
son died from it, and he went after the drug dealer, didn't he?
Well, his son committed suicide. I mean, it was even one more step removed.
Oh, right. And he was, yeah.
So, I mean, he didn't even die of an OD. He just killed himself. And
he felt the drug dealer giving him drugs contributed to his depression, which then led to his suicide.
Right.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah. And in a way, like on one hand, I'm like, I think it's a bold statement. On the other hand, it's like, ooh, you're doing a little transference there, aren't you, Archie?
Yeah.
I mean, you got a drug addict son. Yeah, I know you can be mad at the drug addict, but got to take a look at what's going on around the house, too, don't you?
Exactly. Well, because this is a case that's going on in Portland, and a girl died, and the drug dealers, they're trying to convict of manslaughter. But, I mean, she willingly took these pills.
Yeah, but she took an illegal substance that he supplied her, and they're not going for murder one, they're going for manslaughter, which means there's some culpability there.
Right, if you're
Jesus, I should be an attorney.
If you're driving down the street and you accidentally hit someone, you can be tried for manslaughter. I mean, you were involved in the chain of events that led to this person dying.
Right. You didn't intentionally try to run them over, but yet because you were talking on your cell phone, you took a life, you were involved. You were responsible for it.
They're really cracking down on all those kind of, especially with the drug dealers and all that. They're just trying to hold more people more responsible for this overall epidemic that we're going through with younger kids, ODing and.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the law for a minute because I got a couple.
Adam's on a roll.
I got a couple thoughts about that. I was watching another one of these high-speed pursuits.
They're everywhere
on the TV today. And it's there's this new here's really the problem is cops are scared to do anything now for fear there's going to it's another thing we can thank the attorneys and the left-wing liberals for and the ACLU and all these other vermin that are trying to destroy the fabric of this country. And I'm not a right-winger, but I'm
actually liberal, but I agree with you. I think
I'm liberal.
It's really messed up right now. They can't do their jobs.
I'm liberal in most senses, too, when it comes to, women's rights and drugs and all that kind of stuff. But you got to let cops be cops.
True.
And here's the problem. They go on these high-speed pursuits now, and they can do nothing. Their thing is back off, lay back, don't put any pressure on the guy, and wait till he runs out of gas.
Right, that's just insane. What message does that send to these criminals?
Well,
if you got a tank of gas and a faster car than them, I mean, just keep going.
Well, I mean, the thing is I had one of these things go by my house about a year ago. It literally went up my canyon. I live up Beechwood Canyon. Mm-hmm. It goes up the canyon. The cops follow them up the canyon. They wind out through all the side streets. They actually drive right by my house. It's kind of fun seeing your house from a helicopter. I realized I was missing a roofing tile up on the ridge. I had that replaced. You don't oftentimes get that view up there. And it wound around the house and eventually connected with Beechwood and went back down into Hollywood. And then the guy got on the freeway, and the thing this thing was all over the news, and ended up out in Canoga Park. This guy took the freeway, got on the 101, he drove all the way through the valley, got all the way down to the West Valley. I'm talking about 25 miles from Hollywood. Got off, sped down Tampa or Topanga Canyon or something. Eventually something happened down miles and miles away. Now, they could have cut him off when he headed up Beechwood Canyon.
Oh, easy.
There's only one way out of that.
It's like a cul-de-sac.
He actually went all through the streets, turned around, and then came right back down that way. Now, here's the deal. They can't set up a roadblock for fear we don't want to agitate him. He might charge the roadblock or something like that. But here's my point. This is all going on in Hollywood at 3:30 in the afternoon. You live in Canoga Park and you're picking up your kid from school an hour later, and this guy runs over your kid.
Yeah.
How pissed are you?
Yeah, that they could have got him at Beechwood an hour before.
An hour before, they could have got him
on a dead-end street that he turned around and went back down. Right.
Right. Yeah. Now, I'm saying this guy... It's like, okay, it's dangerous any way you slice it, but one way he's covered 85 miles. He's weaving in and out of traffic. He's going against the grain. How irate would you be if you were victimized by this guy 100 miles after the pursuit started.
No.
This is a ridiculous
The
policy.
The casualties become greater the longer
goes
you
on.
allow
Yeah,
them to
of
go
course.
out there
The more-
running stop signs, going,
Of
you know.
course.
The more,
just-
right.
I say put your car there, let him bash into him, piss him off a little bit, shoot his tires out, do what you got to
Remember
do
the
to
days
stop
they
him.
used to set up like bulldozers
Yeah.
on the street?
Well, they weren't afraid to do their jobs back then, and it's true. Right now, they're really afraid of pissing off a certain group, or God knows, lawsuit or what have you, and having a group of people screaming and yelling at them.
I just, the deal is there's got to be some sort of mathematical equation for like each 3.5 minutes of a pursuit, you put X amount of people in danger, depending on where it is, pedestrians, motorists, whoever. And because of that equation, you should just halt it as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a horrible policy that we'll hang back and see what happens. Well, the guy freaks out. Then the other half of the time, the guy jumps out of the car and runs into some nursery or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And starts grabbing kids. It's like for hostages.
Right. You chase him all the way to the nursery where he parked and ran and jumped in. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, can't we agree as a society that
There's got to be a way to allow them to do their jobs.
Let's just take a vote. That's all I'm saying. All right. We're on the same page
Absolutely.
here, though, right?
I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah.
All right. Dedee Pfeiffer, my new best friend and a guest here tonight on the cover of this month's Playboy, and we'll be back.
Hi, this is Mark from Blink-182, and you are listening to Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew on Loveline. I have a really big dick.
Hey, Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Drew. Dedee Pfeiffer's our guest tonight. She's actually out front signing Playboys.
Unacceptable.
Dedee is also on For Your Love, not to mention the cover and inside the issue of the February edition of this Playboy, which is out on newsstands now. Oh, here she comes. Dedee, come on, baby. Oh, what is it with those Playboy nerds?
Actually, I was talking to your guy out there about Rottweilers, but anyways.
Yeah, but the Playboy really brings out the nerd. Like when we have rock bands in here and people come in and want to sign a drum head or magazine or something, that's the thing. But that's the street, the run of the mill sort of street nerd. Mm-hmm. But when the Playboy issues come out, boy, you really dig deep. Super nerdism coming out. And it's a weird life. These people, they camp out in front of hot spots, restaurants, trendy restaurants in New York. If you ever go to the Riga Royal Hotel, there'll always be a line of people standing out on the curb because celebrities always stay there, and they hit them up when they come out. But they're selling the crap on eBay or whatever. They make their living with this. And
that's what someone said to me. I'm signing like hundreds of them. They're like, all these guys are about to make a lot of money. I'm like, oh.
They have these like 3x5 cars. They go, just sign your name here.
Yeah, just these white little cars. And I always wonder why.
And they go, you go, all right, well, who do you want me to make this out to? And they go, just put your name.
Just your name, yeah. And you're like 4 of them. You're like, okay, why am I sending 4 white cards?
Yeah, sign 4 white cards. And if you could put your date, and if we could just get your driver's license number on there so we can authenticate this in a semen sample, that would be, we'll run that through the lab.
So they do it to you guys too? You guys get the white cards?
Yeah, get the white cards. And here's the thing that's always funny about that is there's always a group of people that's out front of the Riga Royal Hotel over there in New York. And there's a group of 10 or 15 people. Now, not all 10 or 15 goes, oh, my God, there's Adam Carolla from Basic Cable. There's 2 or 3 guys who are sort of in our show's range that run over. The other 10 are following the 3 that ran over because this is a potential celebrity here. We got to get.
I get that a lot.
But inevitably, some 4-foot Vietnamese woman will go, who are you? And you go, I'm Adam. You sign. And you're like, oh, okay, was this for your kid, honey? Or
I had that happen last night. It was all these men asking for my autograph. And this little girl who's standing with a little book kind of just looked at me and thought, well, okay, just gave me the book. And I was like, I said, oh, sweetie, you want an autograph? She's like, yeah. I go, do you know who I am? She's like, no. I was like, that's all right. I signed it.
You were Sybil's eldest daughter.
Yeah, the uptight pregnant one. Yeah.
Yeah, I one day I would like to conduct a little social experiment where we just have totally unknown civilian people stand in malls, and we have about 10 plants run up to them and get autographs and see how many vermin just run along and get them to sign something too.
Yeah.
I think you could. I think it would work.
Tons.
Oh, last night I heard people going, "Who is she? Who is she?" Like down the line, Michelle Pfeiffer's little sister. Oh, and all of a sudden there are pads of paper flying out. And I was at a WB All-Star party. I was there to promote For Your Love, but most of the people knew I was Michelle's sister, so they started throwing pads at me.
Can you sign this, Michelle Pfeiffer?
Oh, I've had them say, "Can you have Michelle sign this as well?" And get it back to me. Oh yeah. Or the fans have sent me letters saying, "Can you get Michelle's?" I tried her, hit a wall. Can you get it? And I was like, "Oh, that's just kind of rude and nasty and gross." And there's no way. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Make it out to my friend Michelle, and just write your last name there, please. Thank you.
Could get Michelle, but I got your younger sister. Close enough. It's blood.
Erica.
Yeah.
You're 17.
Yes.
What's up?
Okay. I just had a question. I've been sexually active for quite a few years now, and I just recently, about 6 months ago, stopped having sex. And the whole time that I was active, I've never been able to have an orgasm. And then since I've stopped, I have this I don't know what it is, sexual, I need to have sex, but I don't want to. And so every night, almost every single night, I have a dream which leads into an actual orgasm, but I can't do it when I actually have sex.
Have you tried masturbating?
Yeah.
And?
It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. I can always get I start to climax, and then it's it just stops.
Well, let me ask this, and maybe you don't know the answer, but you have a dream where you orgasm, and with women, since oftentimes there's no product or evidence of the orgasm, maybe you're just having a dream that you're orgasming.
No,
and not actually orgasming.
Yeah, are you waking up during the orgasm?
Yeah, it's I'll wake up, my body will be shivering. There's
definitely happening.
Yeah, trust me, that's exactly what that is.
Well, sounds good.
Those are awesome, aren't they? They're the easy, yeah.
All right.
But I want to know why.
Easy, baby.
Sorry. I call them freebies. You just go to sleep, you wake up going, "Whoa, that was unexpected," and really most appreciated.
Yeah. Me, I call them freebies, but the maid don't call them a freebie. Let's call that a bitchy.
You guys tell me, but what I've always thought is for a woman when she can in certain circumstances, but not able to while she's having sex or even masturbation, is because it's something in her head.
Yes.
It's for me when I was younger. Was mental. There was something mentally that was blocking me from going.
Was it blocking, or was it just that sort of skill?
Not developed.
It wasn't developed.
See, for me, it was skill. I had. I'll be honest. Masturbation enabled me to figure more about my body, to know exactly how to.
But it is for all women, basically. It's a thing that needs to be developed. For men, it's already laid down. So
Right.
It's already ready to go.
Yeah. So I think that for me, it was also a little bit of shame and embarrassment. I was not raised as a sexual person. Actually, it was the old school. If you got caught doing anything sexual, you got slapped and punished.
What? Believe me, your brothers?
10 years older.
But they were taking out bats and rolling up newspaper at your brothers. Didn't stop them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
women
guarantee you got 10 times more attention to your brother taking their hands off themselves, and doesn't stop them.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
So,
True.
Erica.
Yeah.
Well, the plumbing works, so that's good. And obviously you have some energy with sex. You started real early.
Yeah.
And now you've decided to stop, so there's some energy
She should
there.
try different ways of experimenting with herself alone in masturbation and experiment, and that could be visual, it could be with books, it could be pictures.
All right, well, give some tips to young ladies who may want to learn how to masturbate.
Okay, when I was, what we used to do it for me in years ago was Anne Rice novels, those vampire novels. Don't ask me why, but they were just so erotic because they weren't on the nose like porno, or where it was just visually.
Again, difference between men and women right here.
Yeah,
there it is.
But for a woman, this whole because it was this.
No, guys are thinking you stuffed an Anne Rice novel in you.
No.
They're thinking the pictures in those novels.
No, but I would read the book, and I'd go to sleep and have these incredible dreams, and it was able to unlock these hidden doors in myself. And then when I was awake,
See, that is not about shame. That is about the operation of your brain as a female. Right. Men do not operate that way at all.
Well, here's the thing.
At all.
Women, I hate to say this, but women will find a way to blame the man for just about anything. You guys are having trouble masturbating at 14, and it's well, guys did it though. But no, women are just different. They're different beings, and there's nothing wrong with that. But do Do you have any sort of mechanical suggestions for young Erica?
But isn't it interesting? She in describing how it needs to be done, goes right to an emotionally connected experience, which is maybe what you should be teaching young women: is that find a way to enter that emotional space where you function sexually.
Well, she does when she's asleep, so it's there.
Well, maybe she should investigate the dreams. What's going on in the dream that's allowing her to unleash those hidden doors, and maybe bring that to her conscious world at night when she's alone, light a little candle, and then try to recreate that. See, for women, how different we are.
Masturbate, you light candles, don't you? Or is that you kill a goat, you light candles?
And it could be lighting a candle. For other women, it's like put on leather and lock the doors, make sure there's no one's like peeking in your windows, and just like, I don't know, do something really naughty to yourself. I don't know.
No, I
mean, for every woman's different.
I think it's a good idea in that if she had something in her dream that brought her to orgasm,
focus on that.
Then try to summon that up in your conscious
that.
life.
Yeah, in her conscious. Yeah.
I had a dream last night that I was deep frying sheep.
Whole sheep?
Whole sheep.
Sheared or unsheared?
You know what? I didn't know.
Specify.
I didn't specify.
That's just scary. What does that mean?
That I was cooking. You know when they talk about like deep frying turkeys? You know, they just drop the whole turkey in there. Yeah. I was doing that with sheep, whole sheep, but yet then they were alive.
Nice.
After that.
Oh, afterwards. So they were like,
but they were like cooked
crispy,
and alive,
extra crispy.
And
heard
somebody was saying that
deep fried coats.
This was cruel, and I was saying no, they're fine. And then like a big piece of one of the skin broke off on one of the.
So it was
sheep,
like having shredded wheat on the outside.
No, it didn't look that way. It looked like as if they were sheared, and then their skin had just been fried and darkened, and yet they were okay. But then I started thinking maybe it did hurt the sheep.
You are a sick effer.
I was just gonna say, boy, I wonder what. I don't even know what that means. That dream.
Deep frying whole live sheep and then hurting them.
And then say, no, they're fine. What is that?
Maybe I was hungry and cold or something.
And counting sheep before you went to sleep to go to sleep? So deep and you were hungry?
Well, you count sheep to go to sleep. But in order to stay asleep, you fry them.
Oh,
see, that's what people don't know that. Drew? Not you, Drew. Caller, Drew?
Hey, yeah.
What the hell does that mean? Something's wrong with me.
I deep fry sheep on a regular basis.
Good man.
Yeah.
You're 30. What's up?
Well, well, first of all, you guys, you rock. So thank you so much for everything.
Thanks.
I'm sorry I'm boring you.
No, that's Anderson.
Okay. I've got a question about, I've been sort of contemplating getting a vasectomy. And I've gotten some goods and bads, and I hear that people have a stronger chance of getting prostate cancer or whatever. And,
what? Where did you hear that?
God, I've just around. More than one person's.
That is bizarre and absurd.
Okay.
So there's no truth to that. I've never heard that.
Okay.
I've actually never heard that either.
Feel free. You have kids?
Are you kidding? You think we'd do a procedure like that if it increased the risk of cancer?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seemed bizarre for sure, but it's like I said, I've certainly heard it around. I do have a son, and he's great. I just don't have any more kids.
Okay, good.
Right on.
Go to town.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Maybe there's some statistical thing out there that slightly increased the risk. I'll have to look it up. See.
Yeah. And again, it'll be able to be explained away that guys who get vasectomies are more sexually active and get more venereal diseases, and that leads to the whatever.
That's right.
See, all these statistics, you can always, if there's a statistic that doesn't make sense, you can always turn the page, and a few pages later, you'll find out
the reason,
what the real reason is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Like that crazy bitch who came on this show. Oh, what was her name? That one from the abstinence department talking about how...
I've been dealing with the pharmacy people to try to get a protocol together for getting people access to emergency contraception. And it was bizarre. They're saying, well, we can't get a physician to sign on. I said, well, sign on. And they were so paranoid about it. So let's get a little committee together of doctors so we'll all sign this thing. And I said, there'd probably be a reaction from the Right to Life guy. They don't understand how this pill works. And she goes, oh, no. I thought, are you high?
Who said this? A pharmacist?
The pharmacy coalitions. And I said, are you high? I said, oh, no, it's the doctors are worried about it. It's a turf war for them. I said, are you high?
No.
Give me a break.
Doctors don't care about
They
that.
don't care at all.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, a couple of things before we run to break, which we're running late for. I heard that Walmart is possibly going under because they're having some problems with their stock or something like that. And I say good, because these are the people that would not carry the morning.
If there is
after
a God
pill.
in heaven, maybe he's looking
Good,
after it.
Good. All you white trash bumpkins can go shop somewhere else now, you idiots at Walmart. Thank you. Go under. Good. And number two, to that crazy abstinence bitch who was on this show a year ago telling me that, what was she saying, Drew?
That you can
women
get cancer.
women who are on birth control
Got cancer, was that it?
had a higher percentage of getting cancer. No, that wasn't it.
It was something more outrageous than that.
We got to figure this out.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and I'll be back to yell at her after this. Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam. That is Dr. Drew over there. Dedee Pfeiffer is our guest tonight for Your Love, Sunday night, WB 9:30, and also on the cover of this month's Playboy and in the pages. We have a Loveline correction. It is not Walmart. It is Kmart that is having a stock problem.
Evidently.
So my pox on Walmart did not work, apparently.
And I went on the web and looked up any articles on prostate cancer and vasectomy, and I found one good 1999 article that showed clearly no link between vasectomy and prostate cancer.
That is the beauty of that computer. And last piece of unfinished business was the woman from the Abstinence Foundation who was on the show.
Yes.
Said, what got us started on this, beside my bitterness and willingness never to let anything go, is that you got to take a real close look at the statistics. They can be spun in many different ways, and it depends whose Cuisinart they get put in. And for instance, this situation was, she said that women who are on birth control, meaning the pill, had a much substantial rate of increase in becoming infected for HIV. And I said, well, because they're on the pill and they're not using protection, I mean, they're not using condoms, their partners aren't, they're getting exposed to more. And plus, you could also surmise that women who are on the pill were more sexually active than ones that weren't.
They were more safe.
They're putting themselves in risk. And she said, nope, not that. It is the pill that is making them a higher increase. And she said substantial, and I said, what is the number? And she had no number. And I said, if there was a substantial number, you would know it.
Yeah.
And she said, I could get it. And I said, you don't have it. And she kept saying, I'm going to get this number. And I said, you don't have it because you'd say it. And listen, bitch, I'm still waiting. It's been a year. Bring that number, you fat effing liar. Bring it. Bring me that substantial number, you liar.
And why doesn't using the pill appear on a little hierarchy of risks here?
Okay. And let me ask you this. To this person or anyone who knows her, and you're lucky I can't remember your name. I know you're Jenny. Jenny was her name? Okay. You're a religious zealot, right? What about lying? That's something that God doesn't want you to do.
Yeah, that's a sin.
And you could completely nullify all this by just bringing in that big substantial number that you claim exists out there that I know doesn't. So bring it in, you coward liar. Jenny Biambi, somebody tell her to bring Adam that number. I know it doesn't exist, you liar.
Constance.
Yes.
30.
Hi.
Hey, what's happening?
Well, I wanted to know if you can give me some advice. I'm married, very happy. I have a wonderful husband. He has got a beautiful ass. And
it's just as hard for her to talk about it. She's not used to talking openly about these kinds of things. This is a tough topic.
She sounds like me. I'm always talking about my husband's ass.
It's very difficult to forget. So, but what is it, the Constance, you'd like to discuss?
well, how do I, talk my husband into letting me play with his,
In what way?
In what way? Well, I'd like to strap one on.
Ooh.
She's starting finishing school? Is that what happened?
Yeah. You could, could she drug him and do this to him?
Well, we're
She's looking for a legal way.
Really?
What can I say to him?
Well, let me ask this.
Yes.
Does he do things to your ass?
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
Is he insistent on that? Is that something he's been pushing?
It's not a pressure thing at all. In fact, I kind of enjoy it.
Okay.
And, I would like to share enjoyment like that. I think it would probably make his his orgasms better.
Have you brought this up with him?
Oh, I try to talk to him, and all I hear is a no. I mean, is there a way I can approach him?
Yeah, just realize the orgasms are not going to get better.
Oh.
That they're not doing this for him.
What's in it for you to get him to do something he doesn't want to do?
Well, no. I'd like to, some advice on maybe, talking him into starting.
Hang on,
small.
Adam asked you a question though.
What's in it for me? I don't know. It's fascinating to me. I saw a German show. It was a clip from a German show on HBO, and they had a whole seminar on women doing that with their husbands.
Yeah, there's such the thing. If you look at the two most refined and uptight societies, Germany and Japan, it's also where the most debauchery goes on, which says to me that when you try to keep people in too rigid a line, they snap and go south sometimes too. All that weird-ass stuff is coming out of Germany. Meanwhile, if you live in an apartment in Germany and you have a wind chime out on your balcony, you'll get reported and they'll have to take it down. Right. You know what I mean? Hey, think about this, Drew. Nazi Germany. Huh?
Shocking.
Coincidence?
Coincidence.
I think not. The point is but if not writing you up for the wind, the guy who writes you up for the wind chime has got a dildo up his ass. Isn't it interesting that energy's got to go somewhere?
Right. Well, no, it's intensified, too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but
highly focused.
Listen, I worry a little about Constance.
Yeah.
She sounds
so well put
together. Sounds put together, but I worry. Constance?
Yes.
We worry a little about you.
Well, I do feel put together. I have a very loving relationship with my husband. It's very loving. He's awesome in bed.
All right. Well, what about respecting his wish not to have something in his ass?
Well, I was thinking, hopefully I could get him to start small, and I'd like
Constance,
to work up.
Here's the reality. It's not going to feel good to him. That's reality.
Okay.
Hey, here's what I don't understand. Like I asked before, he doesn't want this.
Yeah.
Why? What's in it for you to get him to do something that he doesn't want to do?
Well, I'd like to maybe work it up to getting a mason jar of his ass.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that's
he
good.
He didn't sound like somebody to be doing this to me.
No, but that's good. That's a old Loveline show.
Who put her up to that? I got to find out who put her up to this.
Yeah, that's good.
Who put her up to
But we got to take a break. You want to talk to her off the air?
We got to find out who put her up to it, right?
Well, it just goes to show you that, no woman has ever legitimately called and begged to do something in the ass of her husband. All right, we'll take ourselves a little break. Drew, talk to her off the air so we can suss her out. Yeah, we'll be back. All right.
That's me.
That is it. I want to thank Michelle Pfeiffer's sister for swinging by. And,
you're welcome. I'll get you for that later, by the way.
For your love, everybody, on WB on 9:30 Sunday night, and also on the current Playboy on newsstands now. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you.
We will be back in about 22 hours. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying, mahalo. Well, what's wrong with having clean shoes? And you go, I don't know, bitch. Why'd you call?
This has been Loveline. The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, sponsors, or this station. The producer for Loveline is Ann Wilkins Ingold. Loveline is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment.